Item regarding reinstating crossing guards positions.
Thank you. So this item's on the agenda to have a discussion with council to determine if you are interested in reinstating the crossing guard positions. The city previously employed crossing guards to provide traffic control and safe crossing for students around the Coalinga Huron Unified School District schools. These crossing guards reported to the school resource officer or other assigned police officer and/or members of the police department. The city had approved 3 crossing guard positions through fiscal year 2017, and the positions were then eliminated. We had 2 of the positions filled, and when the employees left that occupied those positions, we had advertised them for a very long time and no one applied. It was very difficult because they were paid minimum wage, and it's a split shift where they would work an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon, so it wasn't an ideal position for very many people. The school district has expressed that they are interested in us reinstating the crossing guard positions. Ideally, they would like 6. They are willing to fund half. They would be city employees, so we'd have a total of 6 if that's what council desires, with the city funding 3 and the school district paying for 3. The cost per crossing guard, if we paid them a little bit above minimum wage to entice them for the position, it would be about $9,000 per position. So the cost to the city's general fund would be about $27,000. So I just would like to know if the council has an interest in doing that. If so, then I'll continue discussions with the superintendent and the school district and bring back something for council to formally approve, if that's the direction you want to go.
Yeah, excuse me. Last year, I actually volunteered, and I got a sign from the police department to volunteer as a crossing guard right there in front of the high school. And I think it was needed very badly. I mean, because a lot of times the kids were really good when you would control them, and stuff. But a lot of times the kids would run out in front of them, or people weren't even paying attention. Everybody's just, it's hard sometimes. And so I was out there all last year, and then they wanted me to do it again this year, but I was in a situation where I can't do it right now. And I had to turn them down, but I think this would be really a good program, and it's not going to cost us that much, and it's going to help the city out, and it's going to take care of our kids. And six is not very much. In fact, when I was a little kid, I was a crossing guard then, and we had these little white things that we had on, and we actually got extra stuff for being a crossing guard. We got out earlier, and we did a lot of stuff. I mean, it helped a lot. And sounds funny, but it was fun in those days. But nowadays, everybody has something in their hand. They have a computer in their hand and stuff. So and a lot of kids still do that, and they don't even pay any attention to walking when you have to tell them to stop a lot of times. So I think it's a good program to try to get back into, and we're only paying for half, and I think it's a good program. So anybody?
Yeah, I agree. I think this is safety, definitely. And we don't want to make that mistake of waiting until something happens and then try to react. So sure, I mean, 100%, I think is definitely needed, because these kids' focus is not on the road. It's on their phone. Half of them are running late. So yeah, I think they need that extra guidance out there.
Anyone else?
Yeah, same here. I believe 100% that safety for kids, and not only the kids, as well the parents walking these kids, making sure there's a lot more kids walking, a lot more kids, and being prepared like that would help the city. Where were you gonna place?
So we don't determine the placements. The school district determines the placements, and then our police department provides the training, the vests, the signs, cones if they need them, and the school district will prioritize where they want them. So there will be like a priority 1 zone, and so if that person is absent, then the 6th person who's at the lowest priority zone will be moved so that their most desired areas will be covered.
Okay.
Who are these crossing guards going to be employed by, the city or the school district?
They would be employed by the city.
So no way they can be employed by the school district? So we don't have to take on the lawsuits or anything that may come up if something happens?
We could attempt to do that. They've always, in the past, they were employees of the city because they are trained by the police department. But we can ask if it can be flipped, and instead of them paying us $27,000 a year, we can pay them $27,000 a year, and they would employ them. We could still assign the school resource officer to provide them training. They just wouldn't report to the school resource officer.
Will there be some training, if the city does pick it up, will there be some training for them and everything like that? Make sure that something like that doesn't occur.
Yeah, so there's whether they were our employees or the school district employees, they would receive training.
Okay, do I have a motion or,
Can I, sorry,
I'm sorry.
is it the desire of the council for them to be school district employees?
What's going to be the cost difference between them and us paying?
There's not necessarily a cost difference. It would either be they write us a check for $27,000 roughly a year, or we write it to them. The city does pay unemployment costs dollar for dollar. A lot of people don't realize that. So we don't pay into unemployment insurance as a public employer. So there may be some costs if one of them was laid off, that we would have ongoing costs that would be the full responsibility of the city, but the cost would be minimal because of their wages. So that is something to think about. I mean, in that instance, it may be better if they were school district employees because they would bear that cost.
And the liability.
Correct.
Right.
I mean, if the school is willing to take that, sure. If not, I think it should still be a go. I mean, you can see what the school's takes on that.
Yeah, I agree. I think you ought to just bring it up in conversation if you can get them to do it, to do it. But if not, I think we can take on the responsibility too.
Okay.
So which motion would you need? Just
Now, would they be, if they were with Coalinga, would they be under the police department?
If they were hired by the city, they would be part of the police department. Yes. I don't need a motion. I just need direction that you want to continue down this path.
Yes,
And that's a
yes.
consensus of the council.
Yeah. And you'll bring this back to us too, once you make a contract with them or,
Yes.
okay.
So if they're under the PD, hey chief, do they get guns or stingers or something like that?
They get lasers. And it's, yeah. I got the stop sign, but they didn't give me a vest. Okay.